week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
And there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froach talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my finances. But I'll take the fucking payday, of course I will. And I'll end Jake Paul with one punch. I'd go in there one-armed and beat this guy. He can't box. He's absolutely fucking useless, which we saw last night with Mike Tyson. Talking about Canelo Alvarez. I've not mentioned Canelo Alvarez because it's just laughable. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez. Can you imagine? I mean, if Jake Paul fancies that and he jumps in the ring with him, I will pay homage to him because fair play. If he jumps in there with Canelo Alvarez, he'll get absolutely fucking destroyed and it will be fast and it will be messy and it will be bad for his health as well, potentially. He mentioned me.
And those are the words of Carl the Cobra Froach as he responds to Jake Paul calling him useless. Garath, Davies, right? A couple other guys. The manager of Jake Paul and a UFC, I can't remember his name, can't pronounce it rather. And they all talked about Carl Froach not being a known commodity in the UK anymore or in the States ever. And let me counterpunch. I'm glad that Carl has set the record straight. You don't have to be diehard to know who Carl Froach is. Carl Froach did what he did in the sport of boxing to show people who he was overall. There's a reason why Carl Froach has over 1 million views last month and this month, 1 million plus. Okay, the reason for that is because people know who the hell he is. You know, he's not just good at talking, he's known. Okay, he's a public figure. He's a celebrity. He's an athlete. Okay, so people saying you don't know who he is. And here's the thing. This is the funny thing that gets me about Paul saying who don't know who. Listen, the more you talk up someone that's not known, the more known they become. If Jake Paul is the shit right now, and everybody wants to fight him, everybody's talking about him, everybody has his name in their mouth. We get that. But then if you reciprocate and you do the same thing, what are you now doing? You're promoting a fighter that claims not to know or be anybody. See, here's the thing about talking someone up. They're known by association. By association for what? For you name dropping them. So you're dropping Carl Froach's name, Tony Bellew's name, saying that they're poor and they're pitiful and they had no right to go over there just for that 5 seconds of fame. Let me tell you something about both of those cats. Let's take Tony Bellew, for example. Tony Bellew was on Creed 1 and 2, and I believe he was on 3 as well. Right? So, no, everyone knows Tony Bellew. If you don't know Tony Bellew from that, you know, you've seen him in the silver screen because everybody I know seen some Creed 1, 2, or 3. Okay, so yes, he's known in that regard as well. So Tony Bellew's done a good job and has had a good career. That's why he can sit up and eat bad now and look like he's, middle-aged because he's done it. He's been there. He's done that. So, yeah, we know who he is. But for you guys saying, who nobody knows, only 5,000 people or 50,000 fans know who Tony Bellew is in the States, you're smoking crack if you know he's been on a movie that has grossed millions and millions. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't add up to what they're saying. But Carl Froach is making it known like, listen, I'm not calling you out. I'm doing good. And let's talk about that for a minute. Again, if you're doing 1 million plus 2 million views a month, you're doing very well. Okay? Especially, he has a young channel. His channel's not like ours, so it's expected of me to do those type of views. But with Carl Froach coming in, surpassing channels that's been around forever, including mine, right? He ain't been around forever, but it's been around long enough. to show that, hey, he's the guy. It shows that he has pull. It shows that he has notoriety. It shows that he has the fighters and the public's attention. So don't say that nobody knows who the hell Carl the Cobra Froch is when he was the first one to break the Wembley Arena record for boxing. He was the first to do it. He ain't going to be the last, but he's definitely the first. And no one can take that away. I mean, no one. Why do you think he brings that shit up to so much? He brings it up so much because he's like, listen, I am the one that started this. Not Anthony Joshua, not Tyson Fury, right? Not Daniel Dubois, not Dillian White. Me. Okay? So, yes, Carl Froch is known on both sides of the field, both sides of the pond. You know, and him saying that, if you think he's a nobody, what about the people that you tried to drag out? You know what I mean? So I don't really understand that, because the more we talk about Carl Froch, or the more Paul talks about Carl Froch, or his lack of, you're giving him more of. Counterpunch. So you guys tell me what you think of Carl Froch ripping Garath Davies, the manager of Jake Paul, and another commentator that had something to say negative about Carl Froch, that he's not been known and no one knows who they are, being UK fighters. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched.